Evening, gents. How are we all?
Splendid.
Not too bad.
Excellent.
Good.
So yeah, this week got Joel the ref on, got Kurt, famous for the £1 to £1 million challenge, or dollar, should I say, Kurt,
Yeah.
and Iain for music as well. So let's get stuck right in. Kurt, some great insight last week. What do you fancy this week on the betting?
Yeah, last week was all right. I couldn't believe we lost the Arsenal one, to be honest, but I still can't believe that. I bet that genuinely, and they didn't do anything all game. Tottenham and Richarlison scored that goal from 40 yards away. Um, I have two or three, I guess. I have Crystal Palace, draw no bet, or pick, however you want to put it. I think they're better than United, just flat. And you're getting close to even price here. So that one was relatively simple for me. United, uh, they're all right in spurts, but you can see that the organization's still not there. You can see defensively they still have issues. I mean, Everton were comfortable early yesterday, and even after they went down to 10 men, they were comfortable moving the ball forward. They end up scoring the goal and winning the game, but United still can't beat teams out from midfield. So I like Palace here, draw no bet at home. And then Bournemouth, I'm just going to keep going against Sunderland because I don't believe they're real, really. Um, I'm going to do it every week, I guess, and I'm getting a good price. This one's close to even as well, not quite, but close enough where I'm just going to get the better team here, and I get a little bit of draw protection as well. And then I did a accumulator for you guys, of course. Brentford money line, they're playing Burnley, another team. I'm gonna just go against some of these teams that have started really well points wise, but aren't playing particularly well. Burnley being one of them. And then I did under 3.5 in the Arsenal Chelsea game. I think that one's kind of slow, and this is a weird kind of matchup for Chelsea offensively. And a draw in the Aston Villa Wolves game because I think Aston Villa's price has gotten a little bit out of control, and that is 8-1 that one. So those are the three I've got this week.
I like it. I like that you said you're just going to back against Sunderland every week.
I'm just gonna keep doing it. They're a 20-point team that plays closer to like a 9-point team, and at some stage, theoretically, it'll come back. It came back a little bit last time with Fulham, where they didn't really do much of anything against the Fulham team. I don't think is particularly any good. Um, so I'm just gonna do it for a little bit.
Yeah. Did you say Wolves to draw there?
Yeah, this uh, is mostly a run at Villa. Villa have been pretty good recently, but another team who I think are being priced like they're more of like a top 7 or 8 team, and I don't consider them that high up the table. I consider them more of an 11th or 12th place team still, and they're on a good run. And they had a really bad start, but just it's more of a price thing more than anything.
Yeah, so
And Wolves,
more for value.
yeah,
It's worth a punt.
yeah,
Who's home in that one, Kate? Is it Wolves? Is it
is Villa.
Villa?
It's that, yeah.
Yeah. And what was your bet on that then?
What do you mean? Oh yeah, it was a parlay with the draw, the under in the
Draw.
Chelsea game with Brentford. Yeah. So it
Excellent.
was just a bit more of a shot.
Yeah, and I watched that Sunderland game. Funny enough, Sunderland I think got battered, didn't they? I think they finished 2-0 last week when Sunderland played, but I think whoever they plays had most of the ball, most of the game, most of the shots.
Yeah, Fulham. Yeah, Fulham.
Fulham it was, yeah. Well, listen, Steve has just sent his teams across as well. So thank you for your teams as well, Kate. Um, what do you think about these? So again, he's going for a treble. So he's looking to put £50 out the hundreds we've got on the kitty, and it pays back £206. He's going Brentford to beat Burnley. So yeah, definitely agree with that. I think this is a tough one. He's going United, Palace and United, both teams to score. Again, you're seeing United against Everton at the weekend, maybe the due one. And then he's going both teams to score, Forest versus Brighton. What do you think about those three?
That I don't love the last one personally. I kind of liked a bit of under in that one. I liked the other one more, the one you didn't like as much. Both teams to score in the Palace game. Palace have been. I have my numbers here. Palace have been good going forward for the most of the season, and they have a good goal scorer up front. Defensively, they've been good at keeping teams out, but like their metric stuff is they've been giving up more chances than they've let in, and normally that's just a goalkeeper playing well thing or a or just a bit of a luck thing. You get somebody in a really good spot and he just fluffs his lines a little bit. And normally that luck comes back a little bit, so I kind of expect Palace to concede a little bit more as we go along. So I don't dislike that one. The other one I didn't love as much, the Forest Burnley one. Or Forest and Brighton. Brighton games are so slow a lot of the times. Like, and the only way Brighton open up is if like they feel they're going to score when you open up. If they feel uncomfortable when other teams open up, they really shut that up a little bit. And Forest are a little bit light in general, a little bit more. They're getting into a more of a Sean Dyche thing, back to their Nuno type thing, where they sit back a little bit and hit on the break, and Brighton don't tend to overextend. So I could see that one being low event. But I like the other two.
Yeah, so you gave the other two the seal of approval then, yeah?
Yeah, he won the last one, right? That was
Yeah.
Palace and um I forgot the other team he put in there.
It was
But
the,
oh, it
it
was
was the
Chelsea.
yeah,
Chelsea.
Palace and Chelsea in the double. They both won 2-0, didn't they? So yeah, good game, Kurt. I'll come back to you for some Liverpool talk in a moment. But no, thanks for picking some bets for the weekend. Really appreciate it. We're going to talk music. Before we talk music, how's the Sunday League going?
Yeah, it was all right. Apart from our game got postponed on Sunday, and I felt sorry for the lads who travelled because they were coming from Horwich, which is near the Reebok Stadium, as I still call it. So they travelled 45 minutes down the road for the ref to cancel it off. I mean, to be fair, the pitches were crap. They were just load of standing water, but I'm not getting into a legal battle on this, but they are council shit. So they don't do anything for the pitches, and we have to pay. Joel will let all know this. We have to pay to use the council pitches. They'll mark them out twice a year, and obviously we don't cut them in the winter. But just standing water is terrible. So we're playing the same team in the cup this Sunday in Horwich. But as the lads said from Horwich, their pitches are worse than ours. So it's likely it might not be on.
Do you feel a lot of the surrounding clubs should do more for grassroots football? What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, big time, mate. Yeah, especially the Premier League. Obviously, Liverpool, Everton are our nearest teams. Even the likes of like Tranmere and Crew. You know, I've been watching them both over the years. Something to do on a Saturday afternoon. But yeah, there's no facilities where we are. There's one decent 3G pitch for 11-a-side, and it gets booked up well in advance. So you can never get there. And I hate playing on 3G, as we've discussed last week. So
are you mostly on grass, Iain?
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, the park is like literally 5-minute drive from my house. But standing water. Last season, I've been there like hours before, and it was like a big trench. I was putting soil at my garden in the pitch to try and fill it up, and even a bit of sand now and then, just trying. But I like groundsman, counsellor, football manager, you name it. So it's hard going. But yeah, no, it's a great idea. I wish they did, mate. I wish that like Dorking Wanderers, they started off on a council pitch, but eventually they moved to obviously bigger places. But yeah, I wish get more investment.
I just think there's not many amateur pitches around. I know in Liverpool, obviously where we live, there's Crosby and there's Kirby and there's places like that. But I wonder how many pitches there is and how much it costs to subsidise. When you think about what they pay wages and what profits they get, the Premier League club, could they do a bit more? That's the question.
So I mean, my team I follow, Witten Albion, their pitch is one of the best probably in my opinion, in non-league in the Northwest. They've won awards for the pitch, but yeah, they pay for to have it properly drained and have a machine that puts spikes in the pitch, so it looks like a carpet. Even in like Saturday just gone when we had so much rain. So, but yeah, we beat Bury 3-0 on Saturday, which was really good. So, extremely happy with that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to Sunday if the game's on. So I've actually picked a couple of while we were talking about bets. I've just did a couple for Friday night because I'd like me Friday night football. I'm going to go for
go on.
Como away. Sorry, Como at home and Ipswich away. That's Friday night.
Who have Ipswich got here?
Oxford away.
Yeah, Oxford playing well.
The Ipswich manager.
Did they play Borough at the weekend? I don't know if they drawn. They got a draw last weekend, but
good knowledge, mate. I'll have a check now.
Have a check of that. But you like Como's? Yeah. You've got a soft spot for Como, haven't you?
Yeah, it's just honestly, mate. It's such a great place, and I was reading this morning that Nico Pass is going to be going to Real Madrid, which is one of their star players. So.
Is Como the stadium that's by the sea, or it's
right on the lake? Yeah.
Thought it was. Yeah,
it's brilliant, mate. Highly recommend it. But yeah, there's a couple there for you. It's the Scottish FA Cup this weekend as well, which I like watching. So what team I've been to?
I like a Friday bet like you, but I very rarely get it in. I try and think if you can get a little win of a Friday, it gives you Saturday a boost, doesn't it? But
exactly, just a bit of extra money in the pot line for Saturday's bets.
It's like the 12:30 kickoff, though, isn't it?
Yeah. You have to reload. Don't you, Joe?
You've got all night to think about it if you do it on the Friday as well.
Yeah, never bet the early kickoff, mate.
Any more news on your red card, Iain?
So I've had to basically I've admitted to saying to the referee, effing shocking decision was my line, which as Joel will probably jump in. I probably shouldn't have swore, but in the heat of the moment when three of my players have stopped playing and then their striker just walks through and taps it in the net, it was so frustrating, mate. The thing that annoyed me, I apologised to the ref at half time, and then he said at the game, "Don't worry, I won't put it through." And now he has put it through. It's like, come on, mate. Yeah, as we were saying before, it's like, it's 50 quid, so it's like half a week shopping for someone, or it's a lot of money. I don't know whether Joel might know this, whether it's the same prices for the top league or not for yellow.
Yeah.
Someone told me it is.
I'm not sure on how much the fine is. I think a yellow's 12, but I'm not. I think it depends on the severity of the red.
Yeah.
For the fine, so I think that the one that I think you've been sent off for is one of the highest ones. Great, unfortunately.
So I'm gonna have to do again. Going back to Dorking Wanderers, he's turned up with sunglasses and the cap on, and
oh yeah, saw that video the other day.
Yeah, it's class, mate. I absolutely love it. Like they've started their own amateur football as well. A bunch of amateurs FC. They're playing like a Saturday league. So I just get hints and tips off their team talks, which sometimes helps.
So Iain, Joel, sorry to interrupt there. So the fine, I can't remember back from when I played Sunday or Saturday league. So just so I understand it, for amateur players or players who are turning up of a Sunday and playing for fun, potentially if they get a yellow card or a red card, potentially they get fined nearly 50 quid.
Well, yeah, potentially.
Can be, yeah.
Wow. That's only that. If you're playing 4 times across the month, if you have 2 bad weekends, it's 100 quid, isn't it? What you've got to pay. Wow.
A lot of my players have got young families, mate. My kids are older, but a lot of them got families or babies or primary school. I know myself, and you know yourself, Cole. Kids are expensive, mate, whatever age they are. But if a ref says, "Oh, don't worry, mate, I won't bother to put it in," you think fair play to him, and then 2 weeks later you get an email from the FA. It's like, come on, man. You know what I mean?
I think you might have pulled on the heartstrings of Joel there. So next match, Joel, for these, he's going to be thinking about these yellow cards. What are your thoughts on that, Joel, in terms of yellow cards and getting fines and stuff?
From a player's perspective or a referee's perspective, because I understand why there's fines there, and on the other side, I understand why you'd be frustrated that you feel like if you've played 4 games a month and you've ended up with a 50 quid fine, that's cost you half a week's wage. But there has to be a deterrent in place, doesn't there? I'm not saying.
I agree.
I'm not saying whatever's happened is not frustrating, but if you're turning up and getting sent off of 2 of the 4 games you play in a month, there has to be some sort of deterrence, especially if it's abusing the referee. You know what I mean? And what I will say is on Iain's one, that what you've said, what you've told us that you've said, is that referees will have a different tolerance to it. And I think what's probably frustrated you even more is the fact that you've said sorry at half time, you've understood it, you've moved on from it. He said that he's not going to put it in.
Yeah.
So you've gone home semi relieved.
Yeah. I mean, I put that on the
then
email.
You've had an email off the FA, and that won't reflect well on the referee when he's put that through.
You know what?
If you've said that in your report to say, he said I wasn't going to put it through. How I go about it and how we're told to go about it is protect next week's referee, because that referee hasn't put that card through next week. You say the same thing, you get sent off for the same reason, then you get a fine, and then suddenly you're like, well, where's the consistency in it? Or 1 week you do get sent off for it and you do get fined. The week after, the referee lets it go.
There's a guy who refs around here. He's an old school ref. He won't mind me saying. I won't say his name, obviously, but I remember swearing at him. I said, I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. And he went, you got one warning, that's it. Don't swear at me again. I went, fair enough.
Fair. Yeah.
Fair enough.
That's probably my tolerance level as well. I understand the frustration thing. I think he could have used the sin bin for what you'd have said. Might have been. I think that might have sufficed. You've gone off for 10 minutes.
I'd have called you a CUNT, mate, or anything else.
Straight
I'll
like that. Yeah.
But so when I've just questioned you because you said you questioned my ability, I'm like, oh, come on, man.
Yeah.
You know what I possibly don't like about this, and I think thinking back to when we played the fines in place, I think the club paid it. I think we sold spot the balls in the pub or something. The club paid it, but you want the game to be competitive, and potentially you might have players even at an amateur level there thinking, I can't tackle because if I miss time attack, I'm going to get a card. It costs me 12 quid or 20 quid. I don't want to pay it. So you might end up losing that competitive edge. And I know it's a deterrent, but you still want the game to be competitive, don't you? And it shouldn't be that if you slightly miss time a tackle or give a foul or get booked, you're paying for it. I wonder whether a better option would be clubs pay into a big pot or something, and that pays for the officials, because what you don't want is the game to become less competitive again, do you? It's already probably less competitive than what it was 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah, well, I think what I will say to that though is you'll have an email through Iain to say what the code is and the reason why you've received the card.
I'll have a look in a second,
for the normal, it'll be using offensive, insult, and abusive language. But if say you've mistimed the tackle or you've stopped the promising attack and it's cynical, the leagues will view that as footballing reasons, and that they're not. There's a level to the severity. It's not just you've had a card that that's a fine. If it's for a genuine footballing reason, these things happen in a game. You've made 3 or 4 fouls in a game, fine. If you're turning up and spitting in someone's face or racially abusing someone or punching someone in the face or abusing at the ref, that's in a different category for me. So yeah, there needs to be a deterrent there, of course.
Yeah, you don't want to get into too out of hand, I suppose, do you? So great point.
Need to see what you'd be like to ref call. Just let the game flow. Come on.
Yeah, I didn't used to say a word, mate. We will talk about music in a moment, Iain, but you just made me think of something else to probably ask Joel. What did you make of the Everton sending off yesterday, Joel?
That's funny, wasn't it? I was half watching it. It was on the telly. They've gone into Man United. They've gone into the box. Suddenly, Everton have cleared it. Next thing, there's a red card. What's happened there? I thought the ref had seen something and there was a penalty, or there'd been something against one of the United attackers. But next thing, it's Garner Gay. He slapped Michael Keane in the face, and he's off. And Pickford is marching him off. No one can understand why. And then suddenly they found the replay. He slapped him in the face, hasn't he?
Yeah. Would you have sent someone off for that? I know years ago you had was it Dyer and Bowyer, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think even before that you'd had McManaman and Grobbelaar, but I can't remember what the outcome was to that one. If it's 2 players for the same team, would you still send them off, or would you just say, get a grip or have a way with the manager, sort these two out?
Well, Gary Neville stuck his 2 pence in on this, didn't he? I don't know if you heard the commentary at the time, but he was saying, "Oh, it's a bit of passion," and he slapped them in the face and just get them together and just tell them to get on with it. And then Sky put the what the letter of the law is, that if it doesn't matter if it's against. Unfortunately, I get the passion bit, but slapped them in the face, and then they mentioning whether the force is negligible or not. And I think Gary Neville was saying, well, that is negligible. But I've had ones myself where someone's grabbed someone by, using two hands on his throat and pushed them back, and has tried to claim that wasn't his face and it was negligible because he didn't actually squeeze his windpipe. He, like Ian said, he came up to me at half time and apologised and said, well, yeah, it was a red all day, but I think the ref done quite well to spot that and has made a bit of a controversial decision early in the game.
So, would you have sent him off? What you're saying is you'd have to follow the letter of the law and say you're gone?
I would, yeah.
Yeah.
But Gary Neville also had a point in common sense. You'd say, get them together. If it was that early on in the game, get them together and say, come on, lads. You don't want a £50 fine.
Yeah.
You've got half a week's shop to pay for your kids. Come on. Stop arguing with each other.
12 minutes in, weren't it, I think?
Yeah, it was funny as well. I saw on Twitter afterwards saying Michael Keane's done a lot worse and got away with it.
Yeah, probably played a lot worse, Danny. Oh, brilliant. Thanks, Joel. Ian, let's talk some music then. Let's get stuck in. So, what's going on the playlist this week, Ian? What bands have you got for us?
Yes, a couple really. One, I think I said to you yesterday, it's going to be. I think they're going to be massive, mate. I think you can just see footage of them playing, and you can see the people who are commenting on their Instagram posts, and they've already got a decent management company behind them. They're called Garage Flower. They're from Leeds, but they just look good. Bass player is proper cool. He's obviously not comparing him to Manny, obviously, because obviously the recent news, but it's to remind me of The Enemy, which everyone really loves, that debut album. Very raw, very raucous. It just seems like but they're doing a headline gig in Leeds on the 3rd of December. A bit of a trek, obviously, from our neck of the woods, but yeah, I think they're going to be big time, mate. I think Garage Flower is a nod to Stone Roses as well, which is my favourite band. But yeah, I think they're going to be big. And then another band called The North, not to be confused with The Heavy North. They've just been announced to play in the Truck Festival, which is one of the big festivals now, next summer. And also they've got an EP out called Blood Orange. So just check them out. So it's Garage Flower and The North. But yeah, two great bands, mate. I think both making some good waves already. So
where's that gig in Leeds?
Hedgerow House.
Oh, Hedgerow House. Used to love it there. I went to uni in Leeds, you see.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say Broodnell Social Club, but Hedgerow House is a good venue for a gig.
Yeah,
well.
I've never actually been there. But Broodnell Social Club's supposed to be amazing. And mate saw the Ladhams there before they were famous, and said it was awesome. So.
Yeah, great venue.
There's one called Hyde Park Book Club as well.
Yeah, been there as well.
Yeah, I drove past it, but never been in. But yeah, I just think Garage Flower would be really good.
Just give them a follow.
Yeah, I like the clips, and you show me the clips of them. It seems like they've got a good thing going on. How long have they been about for? Is it someone you've only just spotted here? Is it?
No, it's just because obviously it's all what they call the algorithms and stuff like that. And I know they're linked in with This Feeling, which is one of the promoters I actually do like, because they go about things the right way. They start bands off small and then obviously put them on with bigger slots and then give them big festivals like Isle of Wight, that sort of thing. So just noticed through them. But as I say, I think they're going to be big because you can just tell by their Instagram and who's looking after them, that sort of thing. So I think they'll be decent. Definitely worth checking out. Most bands will start advertising tours now for the new year as well. So keep an eye on their socials as we'll put on the thing. But a geezer we've talked about ages ago, Zach Bryan, has just announced he's playing Anfield in the summer. So don't know how much tickets will be for that, but I'd love to go to that one. I know obviously Foo Fighters are playing now, aren't they? Not really my bag, but yeah, Zach Bryan definitely worth checking out.
There you go. Love it, mate. And what about yourself? Any gigs what you've got coming up, Ian?
Yeah, I'm going to watch Kingfisher tomorrow night with a good friend of mine in Manchester. Another band we've talked about at the Albert Hall, which will be a decent gig. An Irish band. We were talking about Irish music before with my daughter, and there's so many good music coming out of Ireland. Obviously, you've got like Kneecap, Fontaines DC, Mary Wallopers, C Matt. There's so many like to think of. It's just unreal, really. But yeah, Campbell as well.
Were Kingfisher the ones that were in New York, and I think outside one of the pubs or clubs, they just started playing and the crowd started coming round?
That's it. That's them. Yeah, so I think they're on a UK tour at the moment. They've just announced the Olympia for Liverpool next May, which is a great venue. It's about 3,000 cap. So it's. Did you see the footage of Cheap Thrills from the weekend as well?
Oh, brilliant! Joel, what was that venue in? Where was that?
It's the Dome in Liverpool. It used to be Quiggins.
To be Barcelona as well
Yeah.
when I was a young lad.
Oh, is that where it is?
That's the one, yeah. I walked past it before, actually. My dad went. He was in that, the sort of balcony at the top.
Mm-hmm.
Said it was amazing. I compared it a little bit to, The Enemy, a young band coming through, quite raw.
Mm-hmm.
They're quite young, aren't they? Like early 20s.
I've known them since 2013. They came on my radio show in 2013. So they played some gigs for me, and they played Winsford, Northwich. I think where else they played. Done some venues for me, but yeah, really good band. And hopefully they'll go on to do even bigger things.
Yeah, they are brilliant. The Cheap Thrills, I love them. I think they're fantastic. Mm-hmm. No, really good stuff, as always. Well, I don't think it'd be the podcast unless we talked a little bit about Liverpool as well, just to try and round things off. So, again, just as we were dialing on at 7 o'clock and waiting for people to join, I just started jotting down some of the talking points, and I suppose we've spoke about these. Probably feels like we've been speaking about the same things for about 9 weeks, but it seems to be coming out now a lot more in the media because we're losing games, so there's a bit more of a spotlight on it. Probably start off with Isaac. So I think we when I look back, I think we started speaking about him 2 months ago about saying he was way off the pace, and Slot was on about giving him a pre-season. But I'll probably start off with you, Ian, being a manager and watching Isaac play. How long do you give him to get up to speed? How long does this pre-season have to be? Do you need to take him out and play someone else and get him up, or do you need to get a match fit? What would be your thoughts on Isaac?
Yeah, difficult one really. And as we know, there's no easy games in the Prem either, is there? So obviously you get the West Ham next. I am a big fan of like Jayden Danns. I think he's a really good striker, but he's had 2 decent injuries now. And then there's talk about that Figueroa also. His dad used to play for Wigan, him in under 21s, under 23s. But I'd love to see someone like that get a chance, but they're probably not going to. But difficult one with Isaac because obviously he paid such big money for him. So
yeah,
it's
interesting that point, isn't it? Because when we signed Chiesa, Slot came out a lot and said he wasn't quite fit enough, he wasn't up to speed, and he said the same about Gomez a couple of times. I believe Gomez has had injections in his knee, and that's why Konate's been playing. He said Gomez can't play 7 games in 21 days. So he's been saying these players aren't fit enough to play for Liverpool. But then Isaac, he's been saying he's not fit enough, but a need to play. And so it's almost like either he's trying to justify the field, the club are saying, we've paid a lot of money for him, you need to play. And something doesn't seem right, does it? Because he seems a bit off the pace, but it seems like we have to play him, doesn't it?
Yeah. Obviously, we all want him to do well, but I said a few weeks back, for me, the big one was Luis Diaz. I loved him as a player. Yeah. Obviously, he had a great song as well. So
The Athletic put an article out today about that, saying that we do miss him.
If you think back to last season, Diaz, he worked hard and he pressed it, and Salah was a a bit younger as well. And Nunes, for all his faults in front of goal, he worked hard, didn't he? And obviously Jota as well. And I just think at the moment with Isaac, Etakike, for all his class, he's not really a worker. Gakpo's not really a worker. Maybe that's a good point, that maybe teams are playing through that front three a little bit easier, aren't they, than what they was.
Yeah, and there's no balance in our midfield either to protect that.
What about formation wise then? We've probably played the same formation for 10 years, haven't we? That 4-3-3 with the wide forwards, the one forward. Would you think about changing that and maybe having two up top and one behind, or what about the four? Or would you stick with the formation? What were your thoughts, lads?
I'm a big fan of 3-5-2. Obviously, my level of football is a million miles away from Premier League, mate. But I nicked that off again, Dorking Wanderers. But the idea is to keep it sort of them three, at least 2 out of 3 ball playing centre backs, 1 meathead, and then 2 quick wing backs. But obviously, you can't really do that at Liverpool's level. But as Mike Bassett said, 4-4-2. It's
the only thing I find sometimes with 3-5-2, if you're the wing backs, if you're a winger, if you can pin them wing backs back, it almost becomes a flat back 5, doesn't it? And a lot of teams overload the midfield then in front of you, don't they? Play one up top to occupy the 3 centre halves, and they seem to overload the midfield. I was watching Tottenham v Arsenal, and they done exactly that. Tottenham had a back 5. The wingers pushed the full backs, and you had 3 centre halves, and they didn't know what to do. And Arsenal, the forward dropped into the midfield. They already had more midfielders, and they just overloaded them. I think that's the hard part sometimes, isn't it? When you can't get out.
I think our problem is that we don't have 3 fit centre halves at any one time.
We haven't got one.
I know.
It's bad, isn't it?
Never mind, 2 wing backs.
Kate, obviously you're a big Liverpool fan as well. If we talk a little bit about Konate, he's been in the news quite a lot with his contract and with his form, and will he stay? Will he go? What would be your thoughts on Konate? Would you keep playing him?
What he said, I guess, is do we have other center backs who can just step in and play actual minutes in some of these games? Again, Gomez has been his whole career really with the knee injuries and things. But if he's fit, I'd play him. But the problem is if Gomez isn't fit, that's kind of it. So Konate's just going to have to play and continue to be horrible, I guess is a kind word for what he's been this year, which is annoying because he was so good last year, and when he's playing well, he's really, really good. But I think that stuff on the outside is on his mind a little bit, and there's a little bit less protection for him as well with the current midfield where we have and trying, and some of the new attacking stuff after we lost Trent, because I think a lot of what's happening now is we don't have I think what a lot of people missed with Trent leaving was that he was 80% of the creativity we had going forward came from Trent finding balls in behind, finding switches, all that stuff, and all that creativity left and never showed up backward. Like when Verts is playing, he's the creative bit, and you can talk about Verts not playing particularly well, but Verts has created a decent amount, and that just hasn't gone in the back of the net. But when Verts is when Verts isn't playing or he's not fit or whatever, there's no creativity in the team, period. There isn't a team player who can create comfortably like Shabo can with some of his runs. McAllister's not going to. Gravenberch is a little bit too deep to try it. It's not going to come from Bradley. It's not going to come from Frimpong. It's not going to come from any of those other players. So I think that's their biggest issue going forward. And then defensively, we've had a couple of our fullbacks going forward at the same time. And I don't know how often Van Dijk and Konate get caught in 2-on-2s, or Gravenberch. This happens a lot where Gravenberch steps up with the ball and plays a pass, and if it doesn't get there, it's 3-on-2. Like that happens a ton, and we don't have that kind of midfielder that sits. And Gravenberg, I think because of how well Gravenberg played last year, we forget that we don't have like a real six who sits in front of the back four, who wins tackles comfortably, who's really good organizing all that stuff, doesn't necessarily stray. So I think there's a lot going on that doesn't help the back line and Kanate. But then Kanate, it's like all that stuff in front of him isn't good, and then he's even worse. So it becomes like this long it's 90 minutes of players having chances down that side.
Yeah.
What about
What
you
about?
guys, Michael? I was going to say, what about our Japanese friend Wataru? I think he gets
And
a bit of a bad, not just doesn't get a chance really, does he? And I can't remember. Obviously, I watch every Liverpool game as much as I can, but I make go to the odd few. But I can't think of a time when he's let us down really.
No, he
I
hasn't had
think
much of a look in this season either, I don't think.
No.
I did none of them have. I think the one thing Slot last year, he couldn't put a foot wrong because he was perfect last year. Whereas this year, I think that picking the same 11 every week is starting to show cracks, isn't it? Because the squad players, he's got rid of Elliott, who he brought on quite often. It doesn't seem to like Chiesa. It doesn't seem to like Gomez. It doesn't seem to like Enzo. So there's no one really pushing for those positions, is there? So it's the same starting 11 every week. And I'm the same as you, Ian. I'd have thought that Enzo, especially when we've lacked a little bit of steel in some games, and Brentford game when they were putting high balls in all the time, you could have brought him in, couldn't you?
Oh, definitely, mate. I think he's class. My son loves him because he
Hey,
reminds me.
one thing what I would say about him, he'd
Yeah,
be a bit skint Enzo, wouldn't he, for on the yellow cards?
yeah.
He gets booked every time he plays.
People used to say to me, who's your favourite player in the current squad? I always used to say James Milner every week. I'm like, it's boring, but yeah, but I love players like him because, does the job.
What's on the cards for Slot then? How bad does it have to get for us to consider doing something with Slot? Because my view is it's still too early to even consider doing something. But all the rumours are coming out
Yeah,
of the what's the German manager called? I think
Nagelsmann.
he's being linked at the moment, isn't he?
Yeah, I
But
saw that today.
how bad would it have to get? So I seen a stat there this morning as well, and I know could have, should have, would have, but if we hadn't scored those 4 late goals in
So,
those first 4 games, we would have been 19th. I see, and you can say that load, yeah, but if we would have scored in the last 4 games, it would have been different. But it just shows we're not playing fantastic. So how bad does it have to get for us to consider Slot? What would you say?
I'm going to say 2. If we lose the next 2, for example.
2. So if he loses 2 games, you think he's gone?
Well, what's that? 9 defeats?
Yeah, that's a lot in the season, actually, isn't it? Joel, what about you? What's your
For me, I think he's got a lot of credit in the bank. I would say New Year. There's obviously an intense period coming up over Christmas. Champions League
Well, yeah.
isn't actually going that bad.
He seems to want to do. He seems to want to do well in the Champions League, doesn't he? He seems.
Yeah, well, you would even if
But,
before the Premier League's sort of being written off. I think he's got a bit of credit in the bank. See how this PSV game goes tomorrow. Is there another one before Christmas? Have we got Inter Milan away?
yeah,
Obviously, a difficult place to go.
I think 2 simple changes. That he's got to take Kanate out if Gomez is remotely fit. He might even play Gravenberch there. You could even play Enzo there, couldn't you? That's a shout from Ian there. And I think he's got to take Isaac out until he's up to match speed, because this pre-season with Isaac, we're burning points, aren't we? Because there's games there. I mean, I don't know how many times he touched the ball at the weekend. I think I've seen something like he touched the ball 10 or 15 times, and people are saying, well, that's what Haaland does. But Haaland's explosive in them moments, isn't he? Whereas Isaac still seems to be huffing and puffing a little bit for me.
Yeah, I think Isaac's getting the same rep that Haaland was getting probably the last 2 seasons for he's only scoring goals, he's only getting involved in and around the box. But the problem with that is that he's not scoring either. So he's not getting away with it. Haaland's different now because he is contributing defensively, he is getting back, and he is part of the system. He's not just a passenger in the forward line. So
Yeah.
I think when you compare him to Haaland in that respect,
I think Isaac's got more to his game than Haaland's in terms of dropping off and linking up and playing those passes. I don't think he's just a player that just gets in the box. I just think he's just can't get up and run. He just can't get up to speed at the moment. He probably does need. Yeah. It's unbelievable that we paid 140 million for the player that probably needs a run of 5 or 10 games to get fit. What's he been doing while he's been off? He must have just been sat around, mustn't he? Because you've got to keep yourself fit, haven't you? It's not the 80s or 90s, is it? You've got to keep yourself fit, haven't you? Yeah. There we go. So next 2 matches are key for slot. Iain's saying them, so we'll have to keep an eye on that, won't we?
That's only next week, and if Kurt bet it, he's going to keep betting against Sunderland, who we play next week.
Oh yeah.
Is it next week or
Very soon.
We've got West Ham on Sunday and Sunderland on the Wednesday. So
we'll be all right then when we play Sunderland. Maybe fingers crossed he turns the corner, because he is a good manager in terms of how he handles things, isn't he? He is good. So I'd like to see him turn it round if possible, me.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll all agree on that. Right, gents. Anyone else want to cover anything else before we call it a night?
Oh, we haven't talked about Fantasy League for a while, have we?
No. Go on. Have you got it up there, or do you want me to get it up now?
Well, you can do, mate. I'll get it up. Yeah, the reason why I had a reasonably good week this week because I had Eze as captain. He got me 40 points.
Is that what you want to talk about it?
Well, yeah, exactly. I did all right this week. I moved up a few places.
Right, let's do it. Let's do a fancy update then. I haven't even looked at the league. Let's see what we've got. So leading the way, Josh Dyson, who's been leading the way for the whole season so far, has dropped off, and Jonathan Duffy is now ranked number one, so he's on 786 points. There's a gap then of a good 80 points between the next person, which is Kinder and Benno. And then we've got a few teams tucked in behind. Beto Luck next time's in there. Murphy's Law, which is me. I'm in 8th place. Where are you, Iain?
I'm down in 10th, mate. 641. So Mr. Pickford got me 10 points last night, which I was happy about.
And your lad's got off the bottom of the table, hasn't he?
I know he has, thankfully. Where is he? Well, he's second from bottom. And to be fair, the lad who's bottom, Joey, he's a good mate of mine. He won't mind me saying he hasn't got a Scooby about football. Like, he just yeah.
I think some of these followers in this league, Kurt, they could have came from following you, some of these people. So we don't know a lot of these who are in the league. So again,
a few of my players on there as well.
These people that follow you.
Yeah, there you go.
We could end up with an American winner of our English fantasy football.
Okay, there you go. I don't mind the fantasy stuff's good. I like it. I always lose track of it. Like once it gets to like the December and you have to pick your team every 3 days or 2 days or whatever, I just end up forgetting, and so I don't play it.
But you pick about 5 bets a day. How can you not pick a fantasy football team?
It just comes across. I just forget about it, and then I end up looking at it, and I'm like, oh, Semenyo didn't play today. Great.
I normally get to Christmas, and if I'm not in with a chance to win it or near the top, I just fold by that point. So I need to try and keep it going for Pride this year for us for the pre-match mix.
I'll be able to do the top 4 finish myself.
Top of you going for Champions League, Iain, yeah?
That'll do me, mate, yeah. I'm a man of simple pleasures, mate.
Yeah.
That'll do me.
Right, great to catch up as always, Jen. Should we close out then?
Yep, see you next week.
Go on, see you next week.
See you next week,
boys.
Have a good one, guys.
See you later.